Today we'll be looking at the human aura and the light. The light here refers to divine light, the light of God, the Christ light. There's a reference here. For this reference, I will read it. You can also check on it. I think it's part of what we also discussed last week. In the sermon, part 1 and 2 of the light of the body and the eye, I made mention of the human aura. And last week, in between, when we were focused on the light of the eye, I said a lot concerning the human aura. I may not repeat most of what I've said already concerning the human aura, how people who are of the light, as well as those who are not of the light, can see beyond the physical, and they can see this force field of energy around each human being. So, if I may read what Matthew 5:16 says, Jesus said, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven." Now, in quoting this verse, it does not say anything concerning the aura. Yeah. But how does this light of God in you shine such that other people can behold it? Other people can notice that you are shining. This shining here is shining with divine light. Now, the divine light is inside, especially when one has approached that point of reunion or reunited or united with the Christ Spirit. Your aura will become divine aura. Yeah, so I'll talk about that. This will not be an exhaustive presentation concerning this energy field. It is very vast, but it is important for all those who are on the path of Christhood. There are many things that we know, not necessarily for their relevance or benefits for us, but also for the benefits of others and for the benefit of enhancing our stock of knowledge regarding the things of the Spirit. Yeah. So, the definition of this aura. The aura is the force field of energy. And this will be important. Let's write it, because much of what we'll be discussing later will emanate from this definition. The aura is the force field of energy surrounding the soul and the body, on which the impressions, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions of the individual are registered. First off, scientists working along this area, confirm that there is a force field of energy around each individual. Okay. This definition is very important because it says it's a force field on which impressions, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions of the individual are registered. If they are registered there, it means that what you do not want somebody who is able to see the human aura to know, you don't think that thing, you don't feel that way, you don't speak that way, you don't also act that way. That's now for us who are on the path of Christhood. Now, let's just come gradually and talk about the shape. Most of what we want to know on the path of light, they are on the internet. But it's not everybody who is posting something, uploading. Many of them are not masters of these things. Yeah. So, regarding the shape of the aura, it has the shape of an egg. And the size could be about 7 to 10 feet. In other words, this shape of an egg we are talking of could be 10 or 7 feet in size. Yeah. But that is now the average. Yeah. Because as people grow in the Spirit or in the Lord, their aura will become very wide. The circumference will become extended. If you go to the internet also, you will find that there are different shapes. I didn't want to draw something here today. Now, when we talk of the size being 7 to 10 feet, that is already an expanded aura. Because some people's aura could be very close to their body, whereby it's just an energy field that is just almost taking the shape of the body. Yeah. I would not like to talk about my own experiences, but maybe later I can highlight some of them. An important point to be noted also concerning the aura. But being able to see the aura, it involves being able to see beyond the physical. But it has also been proved scientifically that there are conditions for seeing the aura. Yeah. It has much to do with the background against which someone is seated or standing. Yeah. But the point I want to make here is that because of the kind of information that can be known through the aura. Seeing the aura should not be perceived as an alternative to seeking to hear from God, to walk with the Holy Spirit. Because many people do not see the aura. What is most important is to be able to hear. If you're able to hear, even when people are standing before you, you can turn to the Holy Spirit and ask whether you should enter this deal or not. Not so? And you will receive the guidance. So in other words, you are sorted out. You don't need to see. Because seeing the aura is one thing, and reading the aura is another thing. So there are those who see the aura, but they are not able to read the aura. So by reading, I mean interpretation. So the purpose of this point here is to emphasize that possessing the ability, impartial or even total, to see the aura is no indication of an advanced spiritual development of an individual. I think I've elaborated this somehow last week, that seeing the aura is not evidence of spiritual attainment. It is a part of it, spiritual attainment, but it's not necessarily an evidence of spiritual attainment. In fact, the population of those who see the aura, but they are not of the light, are more than those who can see the aura who are of the light. So evil-minded people, many of them are capable of seeing the aura, and that's why I pointed out last week that the light you carry as someone on the path of Christhood, as a new creation, is not good news for evil-minded people who are seeing beyond the physical. Yeah, because they are able to see this light in you. But when you are well informed with this type of, you'll find that you will always remain somehow vigilant. There was a song we used last week, Watch and Pray. Yeah, it helps one to remain watchful. The aura contains a lot of information, the positive ones and the negative ones. It is not everything that you see that you will speak about. Before you can speak of what you are seeing, you have to ask the Holy Spirit. Again, you see why hearing or walking with the Lord is the most important. Yeah, and which is what every Christian is striving for, to hear from the Spirit. So, possessing the ability to read or interpret the colors of the aura is not necessarily an indication of advanced spiritual awakening. Yes. Possessing also the ability to read and to interpret. Just like when we get to this side, you get to know some things about these colors. Yeah, but you see, it becomes an ability to interpret, not so? Yeah, we may not have been either seeing the aura. When one has become single-minded, be single-minded involves the soul uniting with the spirit. But when that happens, one's aura is no longer the normal kind of aura. You notice that in spirit, soul, and body, we talked about how the spirit, the light of the spirit, is now able to pass through the body, through the soul, the body, and outside. So when one has reached that level of growth, the aura now becomes more of the aura of the Christ Spirit. That force field, its circumference will also increase. And part of what comes out of that is that your aura becomes a source of blessing to other people. Yeah. The aura of the Christed one is often surging with light and radiates out a divine quality in its emanation that carries healing, honor, and the cosmic strength to all who come in contact with it. Yeah. To all who come in contact with the aura of the Christed ones, they benefit, they are blessed in different ways by this energy field that is now of a divine origin. So the said divine quality of aura is produced by the Christ Spirit within, the Spirit of God, dwelling within an individual who has dedicated and committed him or herself to walking with the Lord. Now, with this divine energy field, it's important to note that most of those who do not understand anything about the things of the Spirit may become the beneficiaries of this wondrous energy field without ever knowing its source. Yeah. This field, when your aura becomes the divine aura, as you are moving around, people benefit from it. If you walk into, for example, where you can see poverty, or people are mourning, this energy field will provide consolation and strength and hope. But you know, as a carrier of God's light, but they don't know. Yeah, and they need not really know because they have not learned anything in this area. Yeah. So when you are at that level, just by shaking hands with some people and even the sick, they may not realize something immediately, but they have received something. Yeah. What they receive, remember, the Spirit of God is also with these people. Yeah. And that is why one of the ways of ensuring that we are growing involves like praying for others. If we do not have this divine aura which blesses others without any permission from you, So when you are praying for others, you see, you are blessing them. You are doing something that is in conformity with the will of God. And the whole of heaven will be backing you up if you make that loving of others, seeing them the way God sees them, also praying for their well-being and blessing them in your prayers and keeping them in mind. So you are indirectly harmonizing yourself with, let me just use the term, hierarchy, with the will of God, with Christ, and the creator of the universe, whichever way we can use various terms nowadays. So that is that's about these lessons. Now, in today's discussion, we will not be touching on the negative side. I have pointed out some of those negative aspects. So today, we are just touching on those constructive aspects of knowing certain things about the aura. Yeah. Those, just briefly, those who also carry this divine aura, remember, they are not wanted. They are not wanted. Sometimes some very big ministers of God that may go for a crusade, there will be forces that are not happy that this person is coming, and it will lead to freedom. All the things that will happen cannot be identified, even those who didn't turn up for that crusade. Yeah. So normally the evil ones will not be happy. Those who are having maybe something evil in them, but didn't know how they came about it and want to give themselves to Christ, they will be happy that they might receive freedom, or that whatever is tormenting them may have to give way. Okay, so let's look at protection of the aura. How can we ensure that our aura is always in a positive state? How do we ensure that our aura is always in a positive